Okay, I'm not sure you can see all this, but if you can't, at last the curse is lifted. Thank you, hero. Then I get to say, curse, what's going on here, Fairbanks? You mean you don't know? The sword that you carry on your back, it is known as Ashbringer, named after its original owner. And then I get to say, Morgraine? I, the High Lord Morgraine, a founder of the original Order of the Scarlet Crusade, a knight of unwavering faith and purity. Morgraine would be betrayed by his own son and slain by Kel'Thuzad's forces inside Stratholme. It is how I ended up here. What do you mean? It was High General Abendis, High Inquisitor Isilian, and High Lord Morgraine that formed the Crusade. In its infancy, the Crusade was a noble order. The madness and insane zealotry that you now see did not exist. It was not until one known as the Grand Crusader appeared that the wheels of corruption were set in motion. I do you want to hear this? Otherwise, I'll just read it silently.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't see.
I do not
Would
fully
be nice to
understand
have a
it.
little bit more voice acting.
Very well. The High Lord Morgraine was the linchpin of the Crusade. Morgraine was called the Ashbringer because of his exploits versus the armies of the Lich King. With only blade and faith, Morgraine would walk into whole battalions of undead and emerge unscathed, the ashes of his foes being the only indication that he had been there at all. Do you not understand? The very face of death feared him. It trembled in his presence. Don't know what Anvarna's voice would sound like. Incredible story. How did he die?
You're doing brilliant. Thanks.
The only way a hero can die, Night Elf, through tragedy. The Grand Crusader struck a deal with Kel'Thuzad himself. An ambush would be staged that would result in the death of Morgraine. The type of betrayal that could only be a result of the actions of one's most trusted and loved companions. You mean? High Inquisitor Fairbanks nods. I, the lesser Morgraine, the one known as the Scarlet Commander, through what I suspect, the dealings of the Grand Crusader, he led his father to the ambush like a lamb to the slaughter. How do you know all this?
That's a valid question.
Yeah. High Inquisitor Fairbanks lifts up his tabard, revealing several gruesome scars. Because I was there, I was the High Lord's most trusted advisor. I should have known. I felt that something was amiss, yet I allowed it to happen. Would you believe that there were 1,000 or more Scourge? 1,000 for one man? This was the Ashbringer, fool. As the Scourge began to materialize around us, Morgraine's blade began to glow, to hum. The younger Morgraine would take that as a sign to make his escape. They descended upon us with a hunger of the likes I had never seen yet. Yet? Yet what? It was not enough. Fairbanks smirks briefly, lost in memory. 1,000 came and 1,000 died. By the light, by the might of Morgraine, he would smite them down as fast as they could come. Through the chaos, I noticed the lesser Morgraine was still there, off in the distance. I called to him. Help us, Renault! Help your father, boy! And did he? High Inquisitor Fairbanks shakes his head. No. He stood in the background, watching as the legion of undead descended upon us. Soon after my powers were exhausted. I was the first fall. Surely they would tear me limb from limb as I lay there unconscious. But they ignored me completely, focusing all of their attention on the High Lord. Continue, please, Fairbanks. It was all I could do to feign death as the corpses of the scourge piled upon me. There was darkness, and only the muffled sounds of the battle above me, the clashing of iron, the gnashing and grinding, gruesome, terrible sounds. And then there was silence. He called to me. Thanks. Sorry, what? That's not me. Thanks. Thanks. Talk to me, Fairbanks. And then came the sound of incredulousness, the bite of betrayal, Night Elf. Oh, I can stop if you don't like it.
I like it.
No,
I
no,
like it.
continue. I like it a lot.
You mean? Boy had picked up the Ashbringer and driven it through his father's heart as his back was turned. His last words will haunt me forever. What have you done, Renault? Why would you do this? You were right, Fairbanks. This is tragic. Why do I get a nasty feeling past the law is
He's recording it and putting it on YouTube.
yeah, that's why I get the nasty feeling. The Blade and Morgraine were a singular entity. Do you understand? This act corrupted the Blade and led to Morgraine's own corruption as a Death Knight of Kel'Thuzad. I swore that if I lived, I would expose the perpetrators of this heinous crime. For 2 days, I remained under the rot and contagion of the Scout, gathering as much strength as possible to escape the razed city. And you did. I did. Much to the dismay of the lesser Morgraine. I made my way back to the Scarlet Monastery. I shouted and screamed. I told the tale to any that would listen. And I would be murdered in cold blood for my actions, dragged to this chamber, the dark secret of the Order. But some did listen. Some heard my words. Thus was born the Argent Dawn. You tell an incredible tale, Fairbanks. What of the Blade? Is it beyond redemption? I'm afraid that the blade which you hold in your hands is beyond saving. The hatred runs too deep, but do not lose hope, Hunter. Where one chapter ended, a new one begins. Find his son, a more devout and pious man you may never meet. It is rumored he is able to build the Ashbringer anew without requiring the old, tainted blade. But his son is dead. High Inquisitor Fairbanks shakes his head. No, Night Elf. Only one of his sons is dead. The other lives. High Inquisitor Fairbanks points to the sky. The Outland. Find him there. And that's the end of that story. You were here. You were part of the raid. Oh, wow. Blimey. Yeah, right, Jibble has sent me... Okay. I only just realised how many people are still potentially listening. I imagine most of them are AFK, right?
I don't think so.
Yes.
I don't think so, Anvar.
Guild chat exploded.
I was too busy reading. Yeah, anyone who wants to come and see it sometime, let me know, because apparently if you're in the group with me, all of Scarlet Monastery, once you're inside, becomes friendly to you as well.